Okay, let's see if we're on. Uh, 1 2 1 2. I'm not trying to go live. Let me see if I'm here with you all. Okay, looks like y'all can hear me. They should be able to. Bear with me. I'm going to put the chat thing there. Let me see if I'm here with you. Okay. We're good, and I'm going to share it to the fasting group. Let's see here. And I think by tomorrow I'll be able to do it so it does that automatically all in once. But for the moment, I'm okay fumbling through it. And plus, it's like some time to relax a little bit and get settled in and all of that stuff before we get on with everything. And okay, so that's all it's let me share too anyway. So we're good. Okay, so let's see here. Chat. Okay, so we're good. I think we're okay. We are in day 15. Friends and family fast. I'm gonna see if this will let me get some of the glare out, but it doesn't seem like it's doing that. Maybe that's better. So there we go. Welcome everybody, and glad to have you here. And today I'm going to talk about some setbacks and emotional stresses, and how do we counter those during our fast. And then some ideas, and even to maybe start on the feet of the discussion yourselves. I just had a taste for green juice. Actually, the fruits and stuff were doing great. And then I think Yvette, she posted a green juice yesterday, the day before, and that looked really good. So I made some, and then back with my fruits yesterday and the coconut water. And today I got up and I said, I really don't want to eat anything today. I just want green juice. So I did green juice with watermelon to give a little. And the watermelon I had actually was not that sweet. It was more like just water. But combined together, that was really good. And I did that, and that was fine. Let me finish the rest of this here. And also check my settings, because, you know, one time I did this. Okay, and it was only me. Okay, so we're good here. So today, hey, Vanessa, how you doing? So today, like I said, I want to talk about emotional setbacks. I'm going to put this here so I could get a little closer. Hopefully the light is better. It's actually not, but we'll make do. Emotional setbacks and challenges and way through it. Day 15, friends and family fast. And so I asked some of the, excuse me, that powder in there, like a little bit left over from the juice there at the bottom. So I asked a few people to do, each take a day this week to do the Facebook Live. And I see some people were a little nervous. They haven't done it. And I was talking to a friend of mine's, and we were just talking. We actually weren't talking about that. But she was saying she sees me on the Facebook Live getting comfortable talking in front of people and uh, and being vulnerable and all of that. And I guess that is something that, excuse me, get the gain for this, because a few years ago, I wouldn't, like, not long, like 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, before I started DJing on Facebook Live, I wouldn't talk on a mic before. Even DJing at clubs, I didn't even want to say last call for alcohol. I just, the mic wasn't my thing. I was kind of to myself, and the nervousness and that, the thought of talking on the mic just exasperated the already fears that I had there. When I did weddings and stuff like that, I'd have somebody come to do that, or me, my brother, Jeff, we do it together. He would do the mic, or I have the people do it. So that was really a far thing from me. And then when the Facebook Live came out, I was with Shabazz, DJ Rocky, right? He talked on the mic. But then when he was DJing, eventually I said, well, I need to say something, because he's hyping me up and I'm not hyping him up at all. So I fumbled around and I got more and more comfortable. And then even at the club, at backstage, I would make announcements and say things, but not like party over here, party over there, not like that. So I didn't get to that degree, but it got better. Good evening, Michael. So I was, so I got out of that, but that's a lot different than now, like here, because when I'm doing a Facebook Live and I'm DJing, me DJing the music is at the forefront, and me talking is in the background of that. Whereas when I'm doing the Zoom here, it's just me. And there's some uncomfortability, but also it's like excitement. I'm happy where I'm at. I feel good. The sounds, the company, the energy with the people where I'm at, and just all of those things. So that's so much of a level of excitement. I don't really have time to do it. I don't want to do it every day. Now that's something I'll share. That's an uncomfortability. Is not that I want to do it. I want to do it when I want to do it, not live at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I want it to be live at whenever the heck Mark feels like it live. And I can do that too, but this is good with me practicing keeping a commitment and doing some things like that. So that's cool. So I set the time and I do it, and I'll go on. So, and I don't know what that has to do with emotional challenges or stresses, but that's working through something. I'll say that part. What's going on, Lance? So now I'll talk about some emotional challenges that I had a couple days ago, about 3 days ago, and I was coming back to the States and visit mom, and I saw on somebody's page, and coincidentally, this is like on somebody's feed, and I don't really go on people's pages like in social media and read what they have. I have things to do, and I do them, and whatever happens to be there on the timeline, I'll glance through it a little bit, and then that's it for me. But I saw on the page that they were changing the COVID test, so you have to have it in the States starting the 26th. And when it started, yes, and they were changing it, so the 26th you have to have the test, which meant when I came in, I'd have the test, and I'm not really looking to have that test. I've had it 2 times, and with the thing way up in your septum, way up in your nose like that. So I don't need a doctor or anybody to tell me it's okay, it's harmless. I just know me personally, each time I had it, I've had heart palpitations, I felt weak, and I was in bed for 2 days and with pounding headaches. So we're not doing that anymore. So I'm not saying there's things in it, there's not things in it. Good evening, Colleen. Good evening, Valerie. Good evening, Deborah. And, so that was my own personal. And then the second time I had it in Maryland, and I called to get the results, and then they emailed me, and then they called me to come in and said they wanted to talk to me. and I didn't. I was nervous because they weren't telling me what it was. Like, what is it? Did I have something? And blah 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 blah. And so I went to talk, and then when I went there, it was like 4 doctors there, and they had all of these tests they wanted to run on me, which I refused because they said, uh, the information after they test for the COVID, they did other stuff, and they were basically telling me my antigens or antibodies were like super high, like it's nobody like has that kind of immune or defense system, and they wanted to do like the guinea pig thing, and I'm not comfortable with that, and I honestly think most of us can approach that anyway if we took care of ourselves, but we're not looking to. That's a higher level of responsibility, is to like eat right, like in this crisis, to like not eat decent, like to eat immaculate, and to exercise, and not explain why we can't, or I can't afford it, or I can't, and just eat right, like your life depends on it, because it may depend on it. So, but anyway, when I heard about that, it was an emotion. It was a sense of loss of freedom. And maybe even though it was an actual, it was how I was feeling. I was feeling like trapped and caged, like not able to go freely. And most of you all that know me, for the better part of last year, from February till June, I was all over the East Coast, Georgia, Carolina, DC, Maryland, New York, visiting friends, doing jobs. And I was working a lot. I was doing floors, and I'm in people's houses, and I just happened to have the customers that were comfortable with me being in their house, And I come to the door with the mask, and they actually want me to put the mask on. I don't mind while I'm walking, because that's their house. And they're like, no, it's okay. And so that was like the first half. So I was kind of operating almost the same. In a lot of places, I didn't know they had like curfews. You can't be out after 10 at night, and you go to these stores, and I wasn't doing a lot of that. During the earlier part, the first few months, the stores I go to, which is just my food store, my organic market, and the DC area, and the food co-op on off the LIE in Queens when I'm up in New York, or the farmers market down in the Georgia area, and I just go in and get my stuff. So a lot of things that were going on, I wasn't aware of. And then when I became aware of it, it became summertime. Then I really wasn't going in those places anyway. I was getting stuff from a farmer's market. I mostly just have watermelon all summer. And so still doing my same thing. And I'm this place and that place, and kind of oblivious to other stuff. And as far as like curfews at 10 o'clock, and I'm not going anywhere at 10 o'clock anyway. And I even did our house music festival in September. But in June, I started traveling, and then I was going to places, because June I could kind of tell the intensity, and I spent 3 weeks in Jamaica, a week in Montego Bay, which half the people had masks, half the people didn't. Beaches were closed, and then the following 2 weeks I was up in the mountains, and it was different. Like people wear masks if they have to come down from the mountains into the city. It's none of that going there. And there's also there's no people getting sick up there. And, such and such had it, and they're not watching the news all day. And I really got acclimated and spoiled with that. And then when I came back to the States, I had a couple jobs scheduled, and I was doing that. And I came straight to New York, and the intensity was crazy, just the hostility and the things that happen when you're in fear and you're omitting any common sense or critical thinking. You're just in fear of what you're being told and what you think and what this and um, and just things like that. And um, and the same process. So that was that hostility there, and at the same time, people are saying, well, people are dying, but like me, people dying or people dying. So in the past 2 years, I've lost a lot of friends, especially growing up in high school. It's like one or two every month, um, and that's before this came out. And heart attacks, strokes, cancer, aneurysm, those same things over and over. So, like for me, it's somebody's like people are dying and they're dying young. So, whatever the cause, for me, it's just people are dying young, and there's a sadness in me. So I don't make it specific to any one thing. So if a friend of mine has a heart attack, or a friend of mine has pneumonia, or a friend of mine has COVID, or a friend of mine have cancer, they're losses. And they all come back to maintaining the health. So that's like just how I'm processing it. So this making one thing bigger than the other was a bit unsettling for me. And at that point, so that was like emotional challenge. So I said, I need to create my own space. It's not for me to get anyone else in another space. I need to create my space. So I went back to Jamaica for a couple of weeks, and it was peaceful there. But I knew that wasn't where my journey was at the moment. But I got to see like my brother Pete, and got to spend some time with him and Janisha and Candy, and then up in the mountains with my friend Rosemary and Mel, and it was really good. But it wasn't the place, and I came back and regrouped. I think I came for a week or two and did a few floor jobs, and then I found out about Mexico, and I was there for like a month, and then I came back for a couple of weeks, and then back there again for I think 2 or 3 weeks, and then I've been here in Costa Rica for like a month. So it was creating my space and not making somebody else's responsibility. And I'm not, as some people say, rich. I'm working on it, but we're in the early stages. So for your ladies, if you want to marry somebody that's going to be rich, I give you a good rate right now. No, but it was my responsibility to create this space. So I didn't have all the financial resources that maybe others have, but I'm still creating this space, so I know it's possible. And this is for me, and I'm not suggesting other people live this way and do things the way I do it. But when the emotional stresses and the challenges, we have to create our place of peace. If that means traveling, if it means prayer and meditation, if it means maybe not talking to some people as frequently or a shorter time, or if not at all, whatever it is, it's our responsibility to create a peaceful place for us to regroup. And for me, daily, and sometimes even throughout the day. That's just an important part of the puzzle, and that's one of the main ways I'll deal with this. Thank you, Colleen. And so, because like life happens, and I don't think, even though it seems like when I'm fasting or I'm changing in a new direction, even though it seems like more things are happening than ever, it's not. It's just that I feel it more. I'm more in tune with it. And which is good, because then I get to see how these situations impact my life and like the stresses. So when I'm on autopilot and I'm busy and I'm working out in the morning, sanding floors all day, come home and I'm DJing and I'm meeting with friends and I'm on these things. So these ankle biters, I'm not paying attention to, but they're accumulating and they're creating stress, and that's that build up. And when they get here, then when you get some actual real stuff, and then you got this other stuff you're letting accumulate, it can really boil over. And if you're fasting, or you're changing your diet, or you're exercising, these are the times to commit to continue, not to take time off because of Christ. It is to continue to better help you deal with it and focus through crisis. So that's, it's an important thing to do there. And also, I think for me, it's the universe giving me an opportunity to practice the tools that I've learned, and experience myself actually putting them into action. It's like praying for patience, and then you get situations that require a lot of patience. So you get to do those things. Hold on just a minute. I just want to see here and check in with people. Okay, I'm back with y'all, folks. So that's a big piece there, is personal responsibility for how we respond to life, and not make our life circumstances who we are. I think it was Eckhart Tolle, first time I heard that we are not our life circumstances. So if crisis and different things that happen, that doesn't mean we're crisis. That's what's going on around us. But we get to choose how we do it. And one of the texts, it says, being in the world, or being in the world, but not of the world. So if my response depends on what happens, then outside of me, then I'm not in control of my response. So like, I'll give you an example. Like, you'll hear some people say, I am the sweetest person, I am the nicest person you want to meet, but don't cross me, because if you cross me, boy. So you're actually not the nicest, sweetest person. You're only that if everybody. So, and if everybody else is this or that, then you're that. So you are not taking responsibility for who you are. You're basing who you are on what everybody else is. And that's not a point of power. That's not a point of power. That's not a point that's going to move you forward and get you to a better place. So in spite of what happens, I still get to choose. There was an experiment with what's going on, Rick? Rick Rock. Rick, you when they were calling you Rock, you was still like in high school and like 19, 20 years old. I couldn't call you Rock, man. You like 5 years younger than me. But I mean, you was big, but you were like with my sister in there. So and Rick is going to be speaking Friday. He's going to be the guest speaker, and he'll be sharing. He'll tell me what the topic is, but I know it'll be great. He has a lot of wealth and a wealth of knowledge and a lot of personal experience too. So that's a nice treat for us. I'm trying to remember where I came back on, but I'll just start with moving forward. Like, things happen in life, and if we quiet ourselves, we get to look at those things. I like the expression. I think Louise Hay, she said, what is this here for me to learn from? And look at it that way, and not dismiss it as bad or why me. Just look at it. This is what's in front of me, and what am I going to gain from this experience? What's the most loving way for me to approach this, and what do I gain from this to have a better outcome? And it could be challenging, but asking those kind of questions are going to give you better solutions than why me or poor me. We got an expression in the fellowship in one of the 12 steps, and They said, pour me, pour me, pour me, pour me a goddamn drink, will you? Uh, so, and that's, you know, what happens when you do that. It was another expression is, where did I hear this? But anyway, the expression that goes like this, um, about people who say, well, I'm trying, and they're not doing it, just trying. Oh, I'm trying, but this happened. And it said, it was in Landmark, that's where I heard it. And he said, and the lady was saying it, and he said, his name was Alan, sharp guy, he was a facilitator. He said, you know what happens to people that keep trying and trying and trying and trying? He said, they have a very trying life. So I thought that was pretty funny. I liked it when he said it. So make some commitments to do things and be diligent on the daily work. You know, the daily structure, affirmations, prayer, meditation, whatever it is your thing that keeps you focused, because you know, sometimes life situations are going to jump out of the bushes. You got your hands full with groceries, and boom, something comes in that's an emotional down or fear or something, and you have a better chance dealing with that the more you fortify yourself on a daily basis. You know, on a daily basis. Like you, if we take sports, like you see a team doing good, and then all of a sudden a team puts a full court zone press, full court right from the inbound, and they're rattled, and then, you know, and they got like 5 turnovers in a minute and a half, and other team done scored 12 points and in a row, and then they took the lead and all of that, and it wasn't the result of the full court press. It was the result of lack of preparation for a full court press. So that's, you know, that's what it is. And just like success is when preparation meets opportunity as opposed to luck. And I guess catastrophe, when lack of preparation meets crisis. And so we don't want to go around, that road. You know what's funny? I move my hands a lot when I'm talking, but of course the screen being mirrored. So like when I'm going like this, I'm seeing it go that way. So I'm feeling like kind of out of sync. There's probably a way to mirror it. Maybe I'll figure it out. Wow. But do the footwork daily. Do it daily. Don't take days off, because things happen. You know, things happen. And then when those things happen, it's like, wow, you know, where did that come from? So that's what I'm talk about. So, and I shared like my personal experience, but I want to share one more I had last summer. No, the summer before that. I got a cold, and like a cold. I don't get those. And I got 2 colds like in a month. And each time it was like for a week, you know, and I'll get a day. Like today I had sniffles. I started drinking the green juice with ginger, and I had sniffles, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do the talk with sniffles, but it went away. It's just coming out. And I've been smelling like all day, like the daggone chemicals I use, you know, the wood stain and all of that. So, you know, I guess that was coming out. It might be from the green juice. It could be from the fruits. It could be whatever that it's time. But a year and a half ago, I had a cold twice in a month, and then that alarmed me. And then my energy didn't seem good. Like my breathing, when I take my usual walks, I seem to be tired for something like walking for 3 or 4 or 5 miles is not like a big deal for me. That's, you know, like my sister can say she walks 8 miles, and she could say, Mark, you want to go walking with me? And I could go walk with her. So that's not like a big deal. But I was like taking little small, not exercise walk, just get out in the fresh air walk, 1 mile, 2 miles, and feeling tired. So I went to the doctor, and I had this big cyst here, which just came down, but it's still big. And in my head just came out like in a week's time. And I went to the doctor, and He said I had exposure to mold. And, and I said, okay. And I said, maybe where I was staying or not. And I don't know what it was, but when I was there, I didn't feel as well. But when I would go back to Maryland or somewhere else, I felt better. So I said, okay, I don't know what the solution is, but right now I didn't feel my health is there. So don't stay there. And I went back to Maryland, but I was really rattled because one, not going to a doctor is not on my list, but also like what to do. And they didn't have anything to do except some experiments. So um, I wasn't like 100% for a while. That took a little while. And even with working, I didn't feel as energetic. And then I had these uh, light spots, like where you lose your skin, the pigment. I think it's one over here, and popping up everywhere. They almost all. I have like one, two, like 4 spots that haven't gone away. But I didn't have a solution. So, and that's just to say that it's not like I'm immune and I don't have challenges. I do, and even when I went to doctor for diagnosis, they didn't have any solution. But I had people telling me go to the doctor, even like family. But go to the doctor, like in a harsh way, like stop this what you're doing and go ahead and do that. And one, they didn't have a solution for what was going on with me. The most they had is some chemicals or something to put in my body to comfort me. And I'm not really so much about being comforted. I'm looking for a solution. Good evening, Jackie and Doc. What's going on, Doc? And I think it's Amaryllis. I'm hoping I'm Rivera. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. But if not, when you see me, you know, a little tap on the head, I'm cool with that. So I was in this thing where I actually had gotten down with some things, and my immune system was down. You know, I had something going on. I had some exposure to mold, but I'm like a busybody, so I didn't think, slow down a little bit, take it easy, eat light, and I'm still grinding. I'm still, going in Maryland and DC and sanding floors all week, driving up to New York, DJing at the club, and then visiting people, and then going to festivals and giving festivals and all of that. And I'm just, and it took me a minute to just, slow down. So I just, just did fruit. I think for a couple of weeks I did like fruits Monday through Friday. And then from Friday to Friday evening to Sunday night, I didn't do anything. I didn't eat or drink anything. I did a dry fast. And then I would have some coconut water on Sunday night. And I did that, and then everything came back. So, and that's just to say, let some of you know that known me for years. I have challenges too. And I work through them, and I come with solutions, and I don't whine about it. I don't have no people to whine to anyway, so I don't have that luxury. So, I just work through it and come with a solution. And no, it's not so much that I need to know everything. I just need to know that all knowing is there, and that I'll be able to access what's necessary for each moment. So that's good. The sound now is still got some birds and the rooster, but the crickets, and I guess crickets are locusts, and that coming through there. But it's soothing for me, because it's just a sign of life and life cycles and transitioning from the day to going down to night to the detox and cleansing period. And my body cycle is on that too. And so even though I'm still going to bed at 10:30 and getting up about 3:30 or 4, and I'm rested, I'm good with that. Yes, it is, Valerie. I'm rested with that. But more so this time of night, I want to do mental things. The DJing is good because it's physical and mental, but like reading or meditation or if I'm doing social and interacting with people, that's good. So I'm not like an evening workout person, even though I have the energy, but in the morning, I'm like this. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to work out. I'm ready to, do all of that stuff. But the evening is where I want more mental stimulation. And that might be when I'm looking up stuff and watching documentaries and stuff like that. How to eat grapes instead of wine? Well, I guess it just we eat them fresh. When you eat them old, then they're fermented and they're wine. Like even though people say, like you say, it's interesting too, Rick. You talk about that. They say, well, studies show that eating a glass of wine every day produces this, and what the study is showing is the benefits of maybe the components in grape, but what it doesn't show is the also the damage that does from having alcohol every day, or so it's not showing the balance, and you don't need one like the benefits from wine you can get from eating grapes, if that's the if that's the intention. Hey, what's going on, Janora? Just like weed has a lot of benefits, but you could don't smoke it and get the benefits. You can make it tea, you can make oil, and have the benefits of that without the damage of inhaling smoke. And like some things, I don't necessarily need a study for. Like I don't need to research a study of if smoke is bad for me. Like I don't need to do a study of that. All I need to do is be around it or breathe it in, and I know it's bad for me. And it's kind of a common sense thing. So I leave that alone. Oh, you said you'll take the grapes, Ricky? Yeah. And that's you'll hear him Friday. He's got a heck of a story that many of us would have gave up on. He's had a long journey, and just he come from my school, my people. We didn't come from the do what you're told, the golden rule. We come from hard-headed, bump our head, and we came to this process through the Grace and Mercy program, which is good that they have us that program for people that got hard heads and slow learners. Oh yeah. I like that, Ricky. He said grapes instead of wine when I was talking about wine. That's pretty sharp. I'm a little slow, Ricky. I'm a little older. The people when we get in our 60s, you got to do like you did there. You got to explain the jokes sometimes. We don't always get it that way. So I've not had to like focus and do what you're supposed to, and things happen. I came to that, and I came to that at at a later stage in life. So I was, even like body image and body acceptance. That wasn't like until my 50s. And that wasn't like from spiritual work. That's just like hanging out with the fellas and doing wild and crazy things and looking and said, oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. Actually, God hooked you up pretty good. You're good money. And so, so that was just like my experience, but but also what I learned from that is how much a belief system can alter how you really think about yourself. So that was real. That was like a real powerful experience for me. So let's keep those that are in the fast. Let's keep moving. Deal with the setbacks and challenges and keep it moving. And any of you that want to join, you still can. On the group page, it's the fasting options. If you want to join in now and do the next 15 days, or do your own 30, start now and have your 30 end in the middle of February, that's fine too. You know, we have you. But I appreciate you all joining me. I'm going to shut it down. I want some more juice. And it's the first time using this app, so I got to figure out how to even shut it down. But you all have a good evening. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace and abundance. Let's see how we close it. There we go.